righty. Excited to be here today and speaking to you about circular procurement. And I wasn't sure whether my photo would be displayed here, and I crimped my hair last night, so I had to kind of undo that before I come here so that I could be recognized. All righty. Where do we start? I thought of giving a short introduction about what we do. So we are a consulting practice. We have an education, research, and a consulting arm in our organization. The broad theme we operate under is to help companies organizations, public and private both, adopt circular practices and move towards that model. But more specifically, we are specializing in helping alternatives towards a circular economy become competitive in markets. So when I say alternatives, it could be products, technologies, materials, secondary materials, all of that. All of these areas, there's a few sort of propositions and services, but I'll probably talk a little bit more about the education capacity building. We are building a course hub which has short courses and micro-learning modules, which helps educate about circular economy, different sort of transition aspects to professionals. So the angle we take is that in moving towards a circular economy, a lot of professional areas need to be upskilled, cross-skilled, or reskilled. And sometimes there are skill extensions, sometimes you have to learn something new, sometimes there are new foundational skills to be built. So each sort of module and learning pathways are built around that. So in my previous life, I've been a university academic, tenured academic, leading a research group in circular economy. So a lot of what I did before have also sort of, as an educator, has helped me basically build this. On the transformation and activation side, specifically on circular procurement, we are building tools that help you measure progress, help you the level of maturity that your organization is in, and at the same time, a lot of tools on measurement, helping with measurement. The areas that I used to research on was measuring complex alternatives to a circular economy. So once again, a lot of my previous research experience I have used to kind of build some of these. Alrighty, moving towards our topic. That's a short introduction about us. I thought I'll start with the word circular procurement. I'm usually a bit against using circular as an adjective or like in front of a noun or a verb. It sometimes oversimplifies or distorts the meaning. So the right technical word is procurement towards a circular economy, but it's kind of shortened as circular procurement. And a lot of us think that, the general tendency of our mind goes to the fact that we are promoting use of products with recycled content or adoption of recycled content in products. Or we are using or searching for a somewhat sustainable alternative of another product to replace a product. So my thinking about this is that there are minor subsets of what we call procurement towards a circular economy. They are part of it, but they're not all of it. It's much broader than that, because what we intend to do is to promote a larger outcome, inducing like a systemic change. And in doing that, we are questioning and challenging the fundamentals of how we do procurement. So it's as sort of procurement professionals or circular economy champions, especially in public sector organizations, this questioning and challenging of the fundamentals play a big role in changing the procurement process. So 3 things I thought I'll talk about. Can't read my own things. First thing, challenging the demand. Some of the easy things you could do at your own within your own work horizon to make it a bit different and adopt circular procurement practices. Second one, enhance systemic change through collaborative contracts. Third one, encourage life cycle thinking evaluations. So some case studies and examples I thought I'll share with you. So the first one, challenge the demand. And what are some of the very basic questions, like fundamentally, if you challenge something very fundamentally, when you need to buy an item, what's the first question you would ask? No, even before that? Do I need it? And then, is this what I need? So you challenge the fundamentals to that level, to question that, question your own need, and asking, am I actually searching for what I am searching for? And this would kind of divert you to different sort of angles. So you kind of expand your conceptual thinking process of what you think about it. And you start asking different questions. You tend to understand then that you are expecting a certain outcome of a product, and this product is a vehicle to get there. And then when you understand that utility, we call in the economic language, against the product that provides it, it helps us to open up another set of options. And that's the fundamental rethinking that we need to do when we do procurement towards a circular economy. So I have one example here. Right. I took the example of purchasing an air conditioner. So our general tendency, our air conditioner is, let's say, broken or outdated or need to be replaced. The general sort of, our tendency would be to say, yeah, let's buy something which is a bit more energy efficient. Or let's replace it with another one, and later newer version. So that's basically replacing the old product. Same units, better efficiency. If you go for another sort of level of challenging, you might find that, look, I'm actually not looking for an air conditioner. What I really need to have is conducive environment to stay in a certain space and the temperature to be within a certain range to make me comfortable. That's my fundamental human need. And I might be able to achieve it by using things like passive cooling and heating, insulating the room, replacing windows, change the orientation of the room. There are other alternatives that could open up for you. And going back to the original question, if I need thermal comfort when I'm in the room, buying an air conditioner is not my first sort of thing to purchase. I may be able to purchase it as a service. There's a company who comes and installs an air conditioner. With a smart device, they estimate the number of people in the room, adjust the temperature remotely or with an in-device unit, and has better heating efficiency. When something is broken, they go and repair it, replace the components, and keep running it. So they basically own the equipment they have control of the value chain that produces it and manufactures it and repairs it, which helps them to keep it longer in life, and I'm accessing their services to get it. So when you kind of open up new options like that, you would understand that you don't have to own products or buy products to get services of it. And that's the type of thinking we want to open up in procurement for a circular economy, where we would access products rather than buy products. So this is a classic example. I took the example from City of Bremen on car services, but I remembered that we actually have more relatable examples in Australia. Has anybody come across the car company called GoGet? Yes, users of it? I'm a big fan of it. So for the first time in my life, I am trying to be without owning a car now. I moved where I lived recently, and I have access to GoGet. And I evaluated my needs of needing transportation services. It's very ad hoc and irregular. I need sometimes in a weekend to drop off my son for a play date or go and see a relative. I don't travel regularly for work. I go for client visits, and I might be able to do with GoGet. So if you haven't heard about GoGet, you know that there's the option of owning a car, parking in your own garage, and using it. Then there's the other options of taxi and Uber, where you call the service, you call the car service and the driver, and you're a passenger. So GoGet is something in the middle. So I'm not getting any kickbacks from GoGet for promoting them. It's just a service concept. So expense-wise as well is somewhere in the middle. There are cars parked like this. So if a city wants to sort of provide a car as a transportation service as a service, there are parking bays allocated for this type of cars. You have a card when you get membership. When you become a member, you are charged per kilometer usage and per hour, some sort of a formula. You go and tap the car. You book the car first online if you want it for 2 hours or 3 hours. You go and tap the car. It opens up. You drive wherever you want and go and park back there. And you're charged for that amount. So something similar here. you want to expand your transportation services, buying vehicles, expanding your fleet is one option, and this the other option, opening up for new type of service options. Yeah? So that's what City of Bremen did. They integrated that to their public transit system by allocating spaces, by integrating in new housing developments, integrating with public transport. So you can basically, with when you say Google Maps, you could get these options open on where things are. So getting it integrated into city development and the transportation services system. One example. Can I move on? Yeah, so I thought of sharing with you what you could do. This type of options don't come naturally. It might be good to have workshops, ideate, talk about them, open up for new thinking among other people in your organizations. And sorry, there's something wrong with the slides. It's the same thing appearing. And probably ideate and come up with options. Having tools to evaluate them is another one. Sometimes you can do a conceptual feasibility study. Sometimes you would be able to do a more quantitative, with numbers type of assessment. These options against that options, not just sometimes evaluating the monetary impact, financial impact, but also the additional environmental benefits that come with them. So that's number one. Going to the second one, encouraging life cycle thinking in evaluations. So these are easy, low-hanging fruits I'm sharing with you that you could do. Typically, when we buy something, we usually, what we come across is the price of a product. We call it in economic language, acquisition cost, which is what we pay to own something. Get the product, I give you money, you give me the product. But with the product, we actually buy a set of costs as well. That's the cost of owning it. So cost of owning it include acquisition cost, commissioning, trading people, installing something, maintaining it, if it's a vehicle, use of fuel, all of that operating cost, and at the end of life costs. We often don't see all of them, we only see the purchase price. Because a lot of the times, if it's, for example, a major capital asset, acquisition cost will go from your CapEx budget, but operational costs and all the other costs will go from other council or organizational budgets. But for the organization, all of this is your whole of life cost. So to capture this, we have a concept called cost of ownership, where you actually estimate and envisage this at the time of purchase. So this is an example where you compare a bollard made of recycled plastic and made of wood. Recycled plastics is more expensive to purchase, but the wooden bollard is less expensive, though it has to be replaced a few times within that life of a plastic item. So with cost of replacement comes the cost of disposal, cost of decommissioning, cost of disruption of service, etc., etc. And if you finally calculate the total cost of ownership, sometimes some of those expensive items, which are a bit more durable, actually have a better whole of life cost. So what you could do, educate, this is just one concept, which is quite simple. Educate your teams on these concepts are available, help them use it, design internal systems so that different departments do collaborative sort of meetings in purchasing, set up this criteria, integrate into your internal system of thinking, create tools to measure them. Some of this can be done with simple Excel tools. So having that proper training in the beginning, it helps you adopt them very easily. And then transition to using these in new vendor evaluations, when evaluating vendors for vendor panels or specific procurements, integrate them into your practice. So awareness and knowledge that these are there and that can be used, I think is the very first one to start with. Encourage collaborative thinking in procurement. Another example, I'd probably skip this because of time. So I'm taking an example of a Dutch network, energy network called Oleander. They are purchasing uniforms, and if you want to actually promote circular economy outcomes in uniforms, you usually buy it from a producer. Producer might be employing a designer. If you want to have better outcomes to the circular economy, ideally, a producer needs to collaborate with a company who repairs, cleans, or consider their design inputs in the process of design. But generally, they are not incentivized to do it. Why should they do it when they can sell it to someone without having to do it? So what Wijayasundara did was to have a preferential criteria for suppliers who actually collaborate and co-design with these parties. So what they want to do is for Wijayasundara to kind of have a collaborative network of suppliers, consult them, work with them, make your design better, show us the way that you would collaborate and produce a better outcome as a system. And with that, you get preferential treatment as a supplier in our procurement evaluation. So outcomes were great. They had a multi-actor collaboration during tendering, like providing preference for that. And so designers, manufacturers, washing, repair services providers, recyclers. That collaborative alliance was the one who kind of won the contract. I think the outcomes are great in terms of inducing change in a system. So all this is about not just picking a product and buying just because it's slightly better, but rather moving towards changing a bigger system through contractual terms, administrative way of managing it, and evaluation. Alrighty, what could you do? This type of engagement has a long and complex, sometimes, engagement phase with suppliers. You need to educate suppliers, hold forums, connect service providers with suppliers, help those collaborative partnerships form. So there's pre-work to be done in that. Design collaborative sort of system-oriented purchasing tenders. That's the second thing. And then to evaluate these, you need new evaluation criteria as well. So these are some of the things you could consider integrating into the way of purchasing. All right, those are my 3 points. I thought I'll end it with a few things that you could sort of participate in our community and network. So we are running courses on procurement for a circular economy for public professionals, procurement professionals, and also for circular economy champions. We have done this as a public course, as well as trained some of the government sustainability agencies like Sustainability Victoria, like their team on circular procurement. So some of these courses are open, kind of run from time to time. And I'll share with you our next offering at the end. And currently, we kind of develop a lot of content to educate public sector organizations and also corporates in this area. So currently, I think Hari mentioned that we have a partnership with LGP to develop this course for circular economy for the procurement function. And we are also in partnership with Deakin University, entering into a partnership with Deakin University to make it available via a platform called Future Learn globally. So it's a non-credit-bearing micro-credential to access through Deakin University. And probably we could explore more credit-bearing micro-credentials where it's integrated into the higher education curriculum. And our next public course, this is basically aimed at circular economy champions and professionals in public and private sector organizations. It's running next month, so feel free to get in touch with me and talk to me if you'd like to join or are interested in joining this community. We run webinars in this area as well, so yeah, happy for you to become a part of our community. Thank you.